I used to be very edited with these, and I used to like be really concerned about them and try to put a lot of effort into after the fact and taking out all my uhs and ums
And that's my problem, the uhs and the ums. But it's human. It's who you are.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
when you speak to me, you're gonna hear those uhs
Right.
and ums and
Yeah.
and all that good stuff. So why not?
The biggest thing that frustrates me about myself doing it that I noticed is I do it as other people are talking. And so I'm not a silent listener. Like a great interviewer is a silent listener.
Right.
I'm not that person.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
So that was the biggest thing for me. But yeah, well, let's get started. We're here with Miss Dreamer, and you've got a restaurant that's opening up in the Salt City Market coming up here in the fall.
I do.
All right.
I do.
Tell us a little bit
So
about it.
I am Dreamer Glen, and I am owner of Miss Prissy's, which is a catering business. We've been catering and doing things in, about, and around the city for a very long time. And we finally have an opportunity to get a brick and mortar, if you will.
Yeah.
And we're super excited about it. We're excited to be a part of the Salt City family, and we're looking forward to November.
Yeah, that's awesome. We were my wife and I, we got married in October, and we, which I still say it like it was just a month ago, but it's almost a year now.
Well, congratulations.
And so we went to Hawaii on our honeymoon, and that was a wild experience, but they had a food hall there, and that's an amazing little creation for sure.
It is.
I mean, I can't wait to see what it's going to be like in Syracuse.
It is. And I just hope that it does what it's supposed to do. Food is like the ultimate unifier, and if you can get a little bit of everybody's culture in one spot, you can have a lot of positivity there. You can do a lot of things. So I'm super excited to be a part of such a larger conglomerate.
Yeah. When did you first hear about the market and the auditions?
Oh my goodness. So I first heard about the market when it was just an idea. I was approached and, hey, we have this idea, would you sit in on a couple of meetings and let me know, what you think about it and what are your ideas? So, okay. And, went to the meetings and sat around a bit and was like, oh, okay, if they do it, wonderful. If not, so be it. And then the application time came. And to be honest with you, I did not want to apply for Salt City Market. It was not on my list of things to do.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine actually, filled out the application and told me that I was going to the informational meeting, and here we are.
Yeah. Wow.
Because I was actually done with it all.
Yeah,
I was just done. And it turned out to work in my favor. So, I was selected. The application process, I think it started off as like 100 and it's well over 100.
Yeah.
And then we had a first go round. So we had two segments. So I was a part of the spring cohort.
Okay.
And then another cohort came in the fall. And the decisions were made based upon those two cohorts of people. Excuse me. They had to, select just 8 of us. So they've got the best of the best.
Yeah.
And here we are.
I was just thinking about that because I was going through some of the old pictures from the market, and especially just February, the selection. To think that they had to comb through everyone, all of those people, all those applicants, all that food. And then whittled it down to 8 people that they thought were the best.
It was like an episode of Chopped.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Every time you got an email, I live to fight another day. This is wonderful. Okay, on to the next round. So it was a great experience.
Yeah, I bet.
It was a great experience.
So you said you were done when that application time came. I mean, how long? I mean, you've had the catering business for
I've been in the game
years.
for 17, 18 years.
Wow.
And we all know we live in upstate New York, and just the red tape and the paperwork, and just trying to get a food business, one of the most riskiest business that you could ever partake in, off the ground in New York. You go to a bank, oh, I need $40,000 because I want to cook, and they're looking at you like you have 8 heads. Like, yeah, okay, let me know how that works out for you. So it's just. It was very hard. Very hard to get your foot in the door. And Syracuse is, we all know, it's a who you know town. And you have to know the right people to get into the right places and to have those doors open. So as I said, it's a wonderful project. To be a part of. The whole umbrella that you're walking under for right now can open many doors in the future.
For sure.
So I was just done with the whole process, the back and forth, the red tape, or you can do this here, or we'll put you out here, but we won't put you here. Just the whole bureaucracy, of it all. I'd had enough,
Can you tell me, can we talk about that? Because, without I don't want you to spill your guts and tell me start naming names, but that's so wild to me because, first of all, I think anybody who's going to open up a brick and mortar is, I've always admired those people and looked up to them just because, I have this business, I have a full-time job, and I've always been the type of person where I'll start the small, side hustle businesses.
Right.
My family always makes fun of me for that. When I was, I had a furniture store when I was 21 years old, and I used to live in Central Texas, and I had a window washing company when I was there. I had a car detailing business.
It's all about the hustle.
It's all
about the hustle.
So I did all that kind of stuff. So for me, it's starting, things that don't cost a lot, or I can, run around and do them door to door or the internet. I've never thought about, for me, wouldn't want to take the risk of trying to open up a restaurant of all things. Even if I thought I had the best idea or the best food, it's still scary as hell to me. But I didn't know that there was that much of a hassle to go through and getting something open like that.
It is, down to your location, and you have to think about that very strategically. Location and zoning, and traffic, and how accessible, it is to your potential customer. And then you get into licensing, and permits, and you have to go through New York State Health Department and your local health department. And just the financing, of it all, especially for, Black and brown people, it's, 100 times more difficult than it would be for someone else. We're an automatic risk factor, unfortunately. So it just makes it harder. It just
crazy.
Makes it harder, and the restaurant industry is kind of, everybody loves to eat, but everybody thinks they just drive by and it's just there one day. They don't know what it actually took to get that restaurant there. It's a lot of hard work, and you see the franchise, the chain restaurants, they go up so quickly because they have a parent. They have a parent company. They have, they put so much money in, but at the end of the day, it's
you're backed by somebody.
You're backed by a larger name, so of course you're going to be successful. Of course you're gonna make it, and if you fall, it's not that big of a brunt,
Right.
But for someone like me who's a soul, you own it, it's yours, and you put all your blood, sweat, tears, savings, bootstrap financed it. It's a different level.
For sure.
It's a different level because. And even employees, because you take that, you're taking their livelihood into your hands. If you're not successful, they can't feed their children. So it's a whole different dynamic, and just getting it off the ground. It's stressful. It's truly a labor of love. And if you don't love it, you really should just leave it alone. You really should leave it alone. It's really, I find in Syracuse, it's not you say you want to own a restaurant. I was like, yeah, okay. That's yeah, okay. Here we go. Another restaurant that's gonna,
Yeah.
be closed down in 5 years or 5 months even.
Yeah. Right.
So it's just very hard to go through the red tape
Yeah.
and to think about all of the behind the scenes things, the levels of insurance, that you have to have. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot to it,
Yeah.
and it's, like I said, it's truly a labor of love.
Yeah.
So you have to love what you do.
I just had Steve Samuels on. We just recorded this past week. And, he's been a chef in Syracuse for decades. And we were talking about that. We were talking about, like, when you go into work every night, not just a chef, but as a chef, as anybody in the restaurant industry, you're going in and getting the crap kicked out of you every single night.
Every night.
And it's not like at my job, if I have a bad day and I, misspell a word in my Facebook post or something, nothing really is going to happen from that. Even if I'm like working on a project with coworkers and I have a bad day, so what? As a chef, as a server, as anybody in the industry, if you go in and have a bad day, that person jumps online and leaves a review.
Everybody's going to know about it.
They may not come back.
Absolutely.
There's so many different things. It's a tough ask to be in this industry, and you're right. You really do have to love it.
You do. You have to have that drive and that passion for it. And I find that if you have that drive, that passion, that zeal, it comes out.
Yeah.
It comes out in your food. It comes out in the way that you interact with your customers. You have to love what you do.
Yeah.
And when you stop, leave it alone. You have to just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been doing it for years, and you've had a catering business. Is that right?
Yes, I started out. Miss Prissy's actually started out as a catering business, and we would do small parties and graduations and weddings and all the good catering gigs, slopping stuff back and forth all across town over Syracuse. You live and you learn.
Yeah.
So we started out that way, and then with the with the publicity and the notoriety of the Salt City market, before Corona hit, we were back to back booked.
Wow.
And, it was just like, oh my God, because they saw my face on the news, they saw this logo.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, we're gonna, we're gonna see what, Miss Prissy's can do. And we started getting contracts with hospitals and, so it became like, oh wow, okay, this is where I wanted to be. But now that I'm here, what the hell do we do?
Yeah.
And it's been a wonderful ride. Business was great.
Yeah.
Until until
COVID.
COVID.
Yeah, right.
Pre-COVID, business was fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's really been a blessing, because even in that aspect with the catering, we haven't missed a beat.
Yeah.
Because although our events were canceled, we were approached by Community Plates and the Allen Foundation.
Oh,
so we prepared over 16,800 meals,
Wow.
To give to the community to help feed them,
Wow.
During this pandemic. So we were super proud
That's
to
awesome.
be able to take part in that. And, just an awesome experience, and to do what you love and to be able to serve the community at the same time was just totally awesome for us. So we were super excited. So we really didn't miss a beat. We stayed busy.
That's awesome.
And some smaller, community events and meetings trickled in. So we were able to keep our heads above water.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you noticing it? Obviously you stay busy, but have you noticed any more events picking up now? Or
They are.
Yeah.
They are. We are. Yes, I'm booked out on the 5th, on the 11th, and then I go right into my to my curbside takeout. So people are excited to see the sunshine.
Yeah.
People are excited to be able to, even if it's socially distanced, they're excited to be able to gather again. And I think that so what if I have to wear a mask? So what if I have to stay 6 feet apart? I'm just happy to see another person and to get outside and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, little things are starting to pick back up, and the phone's starting to ring
awesome.
again. And I think that we're slowly starting to get back to our new normal.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll ever be the same again. But
Yeah, I know it's strange.
it is really strange. It's strange, but I think that, this will be the way of the world for just for a while. So
Yeah.
we just as well buck up, saddle up, and strap in and take the ride.
I was just about to say, man, it makes me so sad, and then you just said to buck us.
Yeah, it
that's
does.
true.
It's really
Yeah.
sad though, because we've had a gorgeous summer. We just hit
know.
the record for July, the
Yeah.
hottest July ever.
Yeah.
And there's only so much we can do.
Yeah, for
we can
sure.
sit on a porch, we can go to a park,
Right.
but the things that I have a graduate. My son is
Oh, wow.
graduating high school.
Wow.
And just the way that we celebrate that.
Yeah.
He didn't have a prom. He didn't have, his graduation ceremony is on Monday, and I have to watch from a car.
Wow, it's this Monday.
This coming Monday. So I have
Wow.
to watch from a car, and just the celebration in general. We can pretty much only have
Yeah.
family, so it's
Yeah.
just a different
It's crazy.
time.
Yeah.
Different time.
It's when the masks were first like, all right, everybody has to wear a mask in public.
Gosh.
It was amazing how angry people were.
Right.
I mean, my wife worked from home the entire time she has. And especially those first couple months, I was still going to work and to the office every day. And I was the one going to the store and just doing anything in public. And there's for a few weeks there in the beginning, you didn't have to wear a mask
Right.
out. And then when you did, I started to notice people were like starting to get a little, and now I feel like that's subsided now that everybody's kind of used to it.
Right. Right.
But yeah, it's we started going to church and trying to find a new church, maybe in the spring. Last fall we started. So we were like going around just trying to find a church that would fit. And we were going to this church called Believers Chapel.
Believers Chapel. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with it.
All right. So we were going there, and then the holidays hit and we were out of town, and then we were on our honeymoon, and just all this stuff happened. So we ended up in for a couple weeks, and then COVID happened, and obviously nobody was going to church anymore.
At
Right.
all.
Yeah.
Our church is still shut down.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yes.
What church do you go to?
Second Olivet on the corner of West and Shinard Street.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yep. So we're there.
Yeah. Back in the day, I grew up in church and was always like, my parents were always volunteering. My brother and his wife are pastors at a church down in New York.
Okay.
And then my sister's a traveling minister, and she lives in Nashville now. But I grew up, doing that.
You're a church baby.
Yeah.
You know it.
Right. Yeah.
So am I, church baby.
Yeah. When I was in high school, we went to Solid Rock on River of Life on James Street.
James Street.
Yeah. So we went there. But there's this church that friends from years ago are starting called Thrive City Church. And so they haven't even started it yet. They're like planting this church like as COVID's happening. They had like a get to know us meeting though at Dinosaur Barbecue though a couple weeks ago. So
Well, food,
any
the
church
ultimate unifier, church, all the things you love in one spot.
I mean, when the church does something over a barbecue, it's it's hard to pass up and say no.
Hard to say no.
All right. But now they're launching and it's all online.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just got a space here in the Delavan Center.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's all going to be online. It's just a weird time,
It really is, it's so weird, school, planning for opening. I still have one that's in school, and
Okay.
it's just like, okay, well, what does that look like, know?
Yeah.
And if it does open, then what do we do to make certain that you're safe? Because you can't be certain that everybody's going to be
Yeah.
responsible as you are,
Yeah.
So how does this really look, and I
Right.
understand both dynamics with parents having to go back to work, but and not having childcare, and
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
really ugly
For sure.
ugly time.
Have they released their plan yet for what
They
they're doing?
they have. So for her grade, she'll be going into the 10th grade.
Okay.
So they're going to stay home and do total remote
Wow.
learning, but they're
Yeah.
going to send the younger ones to school off and on,
Wow.
on some type of a schedule. So
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy.
It's really,
Crazy.
really tough.
Huh.
Really tough.
And then, I mean, especially going into the fall when the restaurant's going to be opening.
Right.
Right.
November.
Yeah.
And, we don't
November.
know.
That's not that. That's
It's a few months
yeah.
away.
That's wild.
We don't know what that looks like
Yeah.
realistically. I mean, all the dreams of a grand opening
Yeah.
and ribbon cutting and stuff like that, we may not
Wow.
be able to do that. When
Hmm.
we open, we might have to be at 50%
Yeah.
capacity. We might be takeout only. We don't know
Hmm.
what that looks like.
Yeah.
The perils of opening a business in the middle of a pandemic. It's
crazy.
like crazy.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
here we are, holding down the fort, and
Yeah.
people are like, will I slow down? Will I stop? No, I have been busy every single day, 7 days a week since March 17th when the city shut down. I became super busy, so it's just,
Yeah.
you do what you do and
Yeah.
you just go with it.
Yeah.
I've learned that I'm totally type A personality. Everything has to be just so and just right.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in the food industry, have to learn to let that go.
Yeah.
And secondly, with the timing and everything that's going on in the world, you just have to have that flexibility and realize that you have to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
Because things are not going to be as you would like them to be.
Yeah. I'm going to restart the cameras real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they only have a certain time limit on each one. Now I thought about that because I'm type A too, but I don't know if I could handle things not going my way.
Well, I'm a big, and I was an only child for 18 years.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I am like totally
Yeah. So you were used to it and then everything changed?
used to it.
That's funny.
So,
I
yeah,
was,
I'm a bit of a brat.
yeah.
Just a little bit.
Did you grow up around here?
I did. I was
Okay.
born and raised here in Syracuse.
Okay.
I lived in right across the street from Nottingham High School.
Okay.
That's where I kind of
Yeah.
my stomping grounds on the east side.
Right.
That Syracuse DeWitt border.
Yeah.
So that's where I grew up.
Okay.
And I went to Henniger Black Nights
Nice.
all
Yeah.
day. So I went there, and I went to SUNY Albany
Okay.
for college, undergrad, and grad.
Okay.
And but
Would
for the
you-
most part, I've always come back home.
Yeah. What did you major in?
Human biology.
Really?
Strangely enough, and I'm standing behind a stove every day.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Human biology. It was with hopes and dreams that I would eventually go to med school.
Okay.
But life happened.
Yeah.
I got married and divorced and had kids and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
life gave me a good run for my money. But my heart and my passion was always cooking, was always service.
Okay.
And I just fell back on what I knew how to do,
Yeah.
and it's brought me the most joy, and I'm satisfied. I'm happy. I'm happier than I've ever been
Yeah.
in a long time.
That's awesome.
Doing what I love to do.
Yeah.
So
That really is. I mean, it's easy to kind of have something to like at a goal to attain or a level to reach or whatever the case is. But if you can just figure out a way to be happy in wherever you are, and like genuinely happy, not just kind of the fake,
Right.
Well, I'm doing good.
go along and get along because my paycheck looks good.
Right, yeah.
Right.
If you can find a way to be happy and where you are, that's really that's the most important thing in life.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'll go through. Am I going to be 30? I'm going to be 34 next month. Yeah, I'm going to be 34 next month.
I got you by 10 years.
Oh, there you go. So, but I just we didn't grow up in like a rich family by any stretch of the imagination, not even close to it, and my dad was in the restaurant industry and always trying to, kind of make it. But so we grew up, I don't know, I'd say upper lower class, thank God I had grandparents, my dad's parents that were always there to like.
Yep, my grandmother raised me, so
Yeah.
yeah, I get
Right,
it.
yeah.
I get it.
So I grew up in Kentucky, and then we moved here when I was 13 because my dad's from Syracuse, my mom's from Kentucky.
Okay.
And his parents were here and older, so they couldn't take care of themselves anymore. So we moved. I'm the youngest of four, and so we moved up here, and I started high school. I went to a small I was homeschooled my whole life, and
Oh,
then
wow.
I went to a small private Christian school. And when I say small, I mean there was like 30 people
Where'd
in
you
it.
go?
This was in Kentucky.
Okay, in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was like 30 people in a class.
Okay.
And a whole graduating class. Right. There was only 30 people. So I went
That
from
is small.
Yeah. I went from that to then Syracuse and, West Hill Public School.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
So
Culture shock.
yeah, without a doubt. But went from like this, tiny house in Kentucky, and then we moved in with my grandparents, and they had a big house, and it was like, wow, look at this. Yeah.
Right.
But so Kentucky to Syracuse. But for some reason, I always felt like when I was like, just could have been being the youngest and dumb and naive, but I was just like, one day I'm gonna have like a big house and, be really wealthy.
The American dream.
Right. And I'm getting to a point at 34 where I'm like now thinking to myself, that's probably not going to happen.
That is out
Yeah,
the
yeah.
door.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm still going to try, but the reality is kind of, 6 years ago, I would be sitting down, dreaming about, I'm going to move there, I'm going to move here, I'm going to live in this place, and being married now. And, as we're planning a family and all that kind of stuff, I'm starting to realize now.
Oh, wait till the kids come.
Yeah.
Wait till
like,
the kids come.
Those things aren't happening.
Really throw a monkey wrench in the game plan. But, you're absolutely right. And, I just had to learn to let go and to realize that it's not my plan, but
Yeah.
it's God's plan for me.
There you go.
And whatever his plan is
Yeah.
what's going to happen. And it may have taken me a little while to get there because of my own,
Yeah.
my own, hard-headed stubbornness, because this is what I want to do and this is how I'm going to do it. And I want it done this way.
Yeah.
And, when you totally relinquish that, great things, start to happen. And that's exactly how it went. Like I said, life happened. I caught hell for at least 7 years. But when I finally, just kind of bowed down and sucked it up and was like, all right, apparently this is not what I'm supposed to be doing.
There you go.
Everything turned
Yeah.
literally, like almost overnight. And the beginning of 2018 was the beginning of this journey for me.
Wow.
So it's,
Yeah.
You just have to trust
Yeah.
and stay the course,
Yeah, for sure.
and just,
Yeah.
have faith. It'll
Yeah.
work out,
Yeah.
but it does not go as you plan. So anybody listening or watching that has a plan,
Yeah.
a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, those are just ideas. They are just ideas and subject to change. And that's how I, how I view it. You just have to be flexible and not so rigid and not so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Not so hard on yourself.
Yeah. It's, yeah. So I could talk about that all day long.
Yeah.
So tell me, walk me through when you started the catering company.
So I started the catering company a while ago. I actually I had a child, and I needed to stay home, and that cut our income in half. I was married at the time.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, what in the world am I going to do to bring some money in this house? Because, we weren't rich.
Yeah.
I need to make some money. So I started cooking.
Okay.
And then it was like, okay, well, this is going pretty good. Okay, so let me get a license for it. Let's be legal. And so I did that, and it just grew from there. It really did. It just grew from there. Word started getting out, and I did weddings and small parties, and it was in my house. It was always a love of food. My grandmother taught me how to cook. She taught me, everything that I know. So I was standing on stools frying eggs at 4 years old. And that was her thing. She was a person of service. She served her church, she served her family, she served her community, and her way of doing that was through food. So it was kind of, I was my grandmother's knee baby, so it was kind of a learned behavior, if you will.
Yeah.
And just watching her, in the joy that she got when somebody ate her food, and they were happy. I think
Yeah.
that's the most personal thing that you can give,
Yeah.
to someone is to cook for them. It's a gift.
Yeah.
And everything just grew from that love, from watching her. And, she was super happy, and I would help her, and I would be super happy because she's super happy, and the people that's eating are super happy, so we can all be happy
Yeah.
from one pot of spaghetti that costs $12 to make. Why is the world so evil?
Yeah.
Everybody just eat spaghetti. You'll be happy. So it all started from there. And, with the catering, and then I wanted a restaurant.
Yeah.
I wanted a brick and mortar. And just looking around and, this building and that building and, then running into the red tape and the bureaucracy. Oh, well, you can't have it here. Oh, well, no, that's not zoned for this. And, okay, well, you're going to need X amount of dollars. And because you're a new business, we're not going to give you startup money and working capital.
Oh, really?
So you need to find a business that's turnkey. And then if you find a business that's turnkey, then it's a restaurant. So you're going in the same circle. We're not going to give you the working capital because you're a startup still. It's like, well, how in the hell am I supposed to not be a startup if you won't give me anything to start with? So it was just one vicious cycle. So going back to what we said before, that's why I was so over it. So when Salt City Market came, I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm so done with this because I'd been through it several times before, only to get going and hit that roadblock, like, nope, can't do it.
Yeah.
Financing, funding. Okay. I have 10%, I have 5%. Yeah, but still, we're not, it's a high risk. We're not going to give it to you. So it's been a long journey.
Yeah.
But I am true living evidence of, with faith, persistence, and hard work.
Right.
Where it can get you. Because certainly, we've signed a lease with Salt City Market, and I know that's not my end destination.
Yeah.
It's a stepping stone,
Right.
And a wonderful one, to get all of the entrepreneurs where they need to be, and if you don't use this opportunity wisely, shame on you.
Yeah. I was thinking about that, like, for the entrepreneurs that are going in there, this is going to be a beautiful building and
brand spanking new.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, working at Gearhars, I get to see
yes.
it's like, all right, I want this there. Like you're getting to lay it all out. And, you're going into a beautiful space with more marketing and advertising money put behind the opening.
Absolutely.
Than probably any other restaurant that's ever going to open in Syracuse. So I'd imagine it's probably pretty difficult to not view that as like the end game,
Right.
Like
right.
if you're going to be probably pretty disappointed, I'd imagine if that's like the
That's
end
all
result.
there
Yeah,
is.
Exactly. Right. Because you're there for a year. Is that right?
3.
Oh, 3 years.
3
Oh,
years.
okay, cool.
3 years.
Yeah.
And, within 3 years, you have a chance to hone your craft.
Okay.
You have a chance to hone your craft. You have a chance to develop your brand.
Yeah.
You have a chance to build your clientele. And you have the supports there if you need them to be, because they're not like pushing you in this space and leaving you out high and dry and be like, okay, here you are. We've been in classes since last year. Business development, training, QuickBooks, how to treat your customers, recipe development, costing, all of that. So we've been given the tools that we need to
cool.
make this a successful run. And like I said, if you don't use that to your advantage,
right.
then shame on you.
What's it like with the rest of the group? Is everybody kind of like? Part of me envisions like this group text between all of you.
There is. It's so funny. There's a Facebook. There's a Facebook group
nice.
chat.
Yeah.
But they are. It's super helpful.
Yeah.
There's no competition.
That's cool.
Amongst any of us. We all got here the same way.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that anyone can do, they try to pitch in and, help each other out and stuff like that. But it's really a great group of people.
Cool.
We have Thai food and Burmese and Jamaican, and we have another soul food guy. We have pies, and we have cakes, and it's just going to be a wonderful way to to just bring everybody together.
That's awesome.
And also I think to eliminate some of this cultural bias and ignorance. A lot of people maybe don't know anything about Burmese food or Thai food, and what a great way to share your culture. Than through your food. So I think that this market is going to do a great service, to downtown Syracuse. I really do.
So you're cooking up soul food, right?
I'm cooking up soul food, American soul. That's American soul. There's classic soul and there's neo soul. So
what's the classic soul? Is that more like...
Classic soul is down south. That's the straight macaroni and cheese, fried chicken, fried fish, collard greens and smothered and stuffed with gravy. All that stuff.
I was thinking about this before you got here. Like, when I grew up in Kentucky, lived in Texas, lived in California for a really short time. I've lived in Southern Ohio. And, I don't think I've ever met people be happier about a type of food than, especially when I lived in Texas, and that was soul food and that was Puerto Rican food. People were, it was a celebration.
You get excited.
Like...
Absolutely, because that's when the butter comes out. Butter makes everything better.
For
butter
sure.
And bacon.
You
can't go wrong with butter and bacon. So those are some of the traditional things that will
That's
be
awesome.
on our menu. And then we have the neo soul, which is a nod to the lighter side of soul food. We take the soul food traditions and we put a twist on it. We northernize it, if you will. So you can get things like a massaged collard chicken and waffle salad. You can get a chicken Waldorf salad. You can get chicken and Cajun pasta. So we try to lighten things up a bit, try to play both sides of the fence, if you will.
I love that chicken and waffle salad.
With a homemade maple vinaigrette dressing. So that's
I'm sure that's going to be good, but
but it's a different
twist
on it. And just trying to be innovative and realize that not everybody wants to eat macaroni and cheese in the middle of the day and go back to work, because it is heavy.
For sure.
It is heavy. So, we try to take that into consideration and, be able to serve the market. To serve that, you have to know your dynamic, in business. You have to know your customer, and although that might be a weekend dish, they might just want to grab a quick salad and go back to work. So you have to be able to navigate, if you will, and to be able to make those adjustments and changes.
See, I like that, and I don't like that. I do like that because it's smart, right? It's like it's trying to, keep it, like, listen, I want to be able to sell it to anybody and everybody, so I'm going to have everything on the menu that I can, right? But it reminds me of this group, this band who... I've told this story before, but basically they had their album with their hits, and they had been around, and they had just put out a new album, and they were playing this concert, and their manager comes to them backstage and says, "Hey, all the record execs are here, and the band have been planning on playing all their new stuff," and their manager said, "The record executives want to hear all the hits," and so the band sat backstage and had this however long conversation, argument amongst themselves. Well, do we go out there and play to the crowd and play the hits that they want to hear, or do we play the stuff that we just wrote, the creative stuff that we want, And ultimately, and the guy had written this book about it, and his ultimate thing was play for yourself. Write a song for yourself. Don't write it thinking about who's going to be listening to this one day and what do they want to hear, but write it for yourself.
Because those are the hits.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Those are the hits.
And you might get stuck playing those hits for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I struggled with that. in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
I struggled with that. I am a down home soul food cook. My
Yeah.
food isn't pretty.
Yeah.
Don't come to me with any, greenery and all that stuff. It's not going to look the best, but it's going to taste fantastic
Yeah.
because that's who I am. I'm not going to conform. This is it. This is what I do. If you want that stuff, go someplace else.
You're not trying to make it Instagram worthy.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to. My food is not Instagram worthy picture wise, but it tastes good.
Yeah.
And I was stuck there, for a long time.
Yeah.
And a very dear friend of mine, he came to me and he was like, look, you're limiting yourself. And it's not that I couldn't
You're right.
cook the other stuff.
Yeah.
I told you I'm type A. I do what I want to do. It's not what I wanted,
Yeah.
to cook. And when I started to cook those other things, it opened me up to a whole new market.
Yeah.
And then I was able to slide in the barbecue jackfruit. Oh, would you like to try the barbecue chicken? Would you like to try
Yeah.
the fried chicken and the greens? And you get them to come on over to the other side, and they enjoy it
Yeah.
and they love it. So that's where that staying true to you, to who you are,
Yeah.
but being willing to have a conversation and be flexible. About things. One of the hardest lessons. And if they were here, they would just eat this up. I'm sure they will when they watch it. But
Yeah.
that was one of the hardest lessons
Yeah.
that I had to learn in this industry is flexibility.
Yeah.
Just being flexible. And it works. The majority of my business is not greens and fried chicken.
Yeah.
It just isn't, because that's the dynamic that we serve. Every now and again it is, but
Yeah.
it's the vegan,
Really?
the jackfruit.
Well, you said jackfruit. I was thinking there's a barbecue truck in Syracuse who he was doing jackfruit for a little bit, and but it was too expensive for him, and not enough people were ordering it. But I took 2 of my vegetarian friends down there one day. Now I got the pork burrito that had the mac and cheese and the tater tots inside of it, and
that sounds
yeah,
good.
no, that does sound good. And they got their jackfruit like barbecue pulled whatever sandwich, and they were convinced that it wasn't
that it was pulled
they
pork.
were
Huh?
convinced, and the only thing that threw it off was the salt. So they were like, well, it's not as salty as it should be. So, but yeah, that stuff. That's pretty
It
legit.
sells.
Yeah, for
and,
sure.
and it's great. My kids were like, Mom, what is that? And then they tasted it and it was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. So, just being open, to try and cook new things,
Yeah.
because I mean, seriously, I brought that. My relatives were like, what is this? And why are you cooking that? Because they had never seen it before or
Yeah.
heard of it, to let alone try to eat it.
I
And
bet.
then they were like, oh,
Yeah.
it's not
Tastes
that
good.
bad. It
Yeah,
tastes good,
right.
So just being open,
Yeah.
to trying new ideas and taking granny's dishes and,
Yeah.
putting a spin on them,
Yeah.
and it works.
So I want to ask 2 questions before I let you go. The first
Okay.
one is, what's your favorite or a couple favorite restaurants in Syracuse?
Oh my goodness. I love Lacey's Tapas Bar.
Really?
I
Okay.
do. I have always been a fan of Lacey's. I like their cheers mentality,
Yeah.
where everybody knows your
I
name.
do like that about them. Yeah.
Laura and Cindy are out there,
Yeah.
greeting the folk, and the
Right.
bartender is always great. So I've always been a fan of Lacey's.
They're good people,
They are. They're genuinely good-hearted people.
but as a bigger guy, there's something about it. I went years ago, maybe 4 years ago, with friends of mine, and we sat. It was they loved it, and I knew it was, whatever tapas when we went. I knew it was that. But
So your table just has a bunch of
Right.
plates on it.
Yeah. But they were like, it was like, I don't know. I couldn't, for whatever reason. But they're great people.
Yeah, they are great people.
And it tasted good.
And it does taste good,
Yeah.
but like I always have like 20 plates because I want this, I want this,
Yeah, exactly.
and I want that. But I really, as for a second restaurant, I'm not certain because I really don't eat out.
Yeah.
And my kids are just accustomed to me,
Yeah.
cooking, at home.
Yeah.
So when I do go out, it's to a place like Lacey's or, to grab something.
Yeah.
Not really a fast food fan either.
Yeah.
So I would have to stick with Lacey's,
Okay.
as my
There it is.
top
Yeah.
choice. That's when I go out. That's where
That's where you go.
I used to go to Santangelo's.
Okay. Yeah.
I did used to go there.
I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
been there in years, but I would say either Lacey's or Santangelo's.
Okay. Yeah. I don't get to too many, we kind of have to go out for the Instagram, but we go out. The only Italian place I really have gone to in a while around here has been Tussone's in Baldwinsville.
Oh, yes.
Just because
Yes.
and Amano downtown, which they're phenomenal. I mean,
Yeah.
but I typically don't hit up too many Italian places. I don't know if it's because I am Italian, but what it is, but I just don't,
Right.
Usually
Right.
if we really want Italian food, I'll make it. You know?
Right, exactly.
Right.
You make it
Yeah.
because that's what you do,
Right.
So
We
you
were
don't
doing
go
that
out
a
much.
lot. Obviously, everybody was, but cooking a lot during quarantine. And I was trying to dial in pizzas like no other. I mean, we were making pizzas maybe 3-4 nights a week. So, which I loved, but my wife eventually got sick
got
of.
tired of it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So tell everybody about your pop-up and when it's happening. And
So I am having a curbside takeout. Salt City Market is all of their vendors are taking a week to showcase their food, their top items that are going to be on their menu to see how the community responds to it and how they
Nice.
like it. So I will be at With Love on Salina Street from August 12th through the 14th. That's a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I will have lots of great food for you to come and try. You can go to our website to pre-order. Everything is pre-order. Miss Prissy's D.com. And our menu is there. You can get a sneak preview. Salt City Market, of course, will be putting out lots of great advertisement and stuff like that. You can hit me on their page.
Okay.
But I would love for you to all come out and, get a taste of Miss Prissy and get to meet us.
Yeah. Well, I know we'll be down there for sure. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
I thank you so much.
yeah. Thank you for coming down. Appreciate it. And
It's great.
everybody
Thank
go
you.
check them out.
Yes. Thank you so much.